Best comment gets pinned. Good luck.
Why don't you take my $1 million bet?
Why won't you pay back to people from CryptoZoo?
I'm working on it, Dylan.
Before launching myself off the top rope at WrestleMania and securing the first win of my career, you might have seen the card I was wearing around my neck.
This is the rarest card in the entire world.
The most valuable Pokemon card in the entire hobby.
The holy grail right
Indicator.
21, you are officially amazing. Congratulations, you are new. Let's go.
But I am so excited about this project. It's so fun. It provides a yield with a token, can earn you money.
Logan Paul didn't just drop another project. He engineered a whole money printing setup that flips hype into cash and turns fans into instant damage control. This wasn't CryptoZoo, not loud, not messy, but way more polished and cold. A $5.3 million Pokemon card, locked in a secret vault, wrapped in a slick promise that you could co-own history like you were part of the inner circle. Clean look, big flex, zero cracks showing, at least on the surface. Then reality hit hard. People tried to cash out, and suddenly the doors slammed shut. No updates, no timelines, no explanations, just straight silence. While regular buyers sat confused, the people at the top kept moving smooth, like nothing ever went wrong. And here's the wild part. The second you understand what that co-ownership really meant, your stomach drops fast.
I am so stoked to announce the launch of Liquid Marketplace.
Team is what solidifies us as one of the most dominant fractionalization co-ownership platforms. We have the most elusive, top-tier, rarest assets in the world for the entire world to co-own, and we can't wait to grow this with you guys.
Because from the outside, this already looks bad. So ask yourself this: what was really going on behind closed doors? It all starts with a flex so massive that nobody dared question it. Big money, big image, big confidence. And just like that, the questions disappeared. It starts with a flex so insane it barely feels real at all.
The co-ownership part is what's exciting about it. That you guys, if you owned a piece, right, you could decide, hey, we want to all put it up for auction, and then it could sell.
Yep. Logan Paul grabs one of the rarest Pokemon cards on the planet, a PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator card. This thing was so legendary that collectors talked about it like some online myth, not something you'd ever actually see. And he doesn't hide it away either. He wears it, flashes it, puts it front and center like it's part of who he is. A world record buy, the kind of move that loudly says, I'm on another level. And that's exactly why it worked so perfectly. When someone drops millions on one single card, your brain auto-locks into two thoughts. First, he's dead serious. Second, this guy must be legit. That card stopped being cardboard and turned into proof. Proof that Logan was a real collector, a sharp investor, someone who knows what he's doing, at least on the surface. Then the pitch slides in smooth. Not a crypto coin, not some sketchy digital token, something that actually sounds wholesome and safe.
You have your Bitcoin, your USD, whatever you have, USDT, and now you can just buy a token.
You don't need to be rich to own rare collectibles.
On Liquid Marketplace to own high-value, top-tier assets that you cannot get anywhere else.
You can own a piece of them. You can co-own history with me. And that's the switch. People stopped thinking like skeptics and started thinking like fans, because suddenly this wasn't just about money anymore. It was about belonging.
In to be a partial owner.
This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about being part of something exclusive.
A platform where collectors can buy and sell fractions of rare collectibles via tokens on the blockchain.
Something rare, something that felt once in a lifetime. That card wasn't only a flex, it was the perfect setup. A shiny distraction, a trust magnet, a headline grabber that pulled everyone's attention in one direction. And once all eyes were locked on the prize, that's when the real business quietly kicked off. Because this is where things shift fast from simple collecting into something that starts looking way more dangerous. Liquid Marketplace didn't sound risky at all, and that's exactly why it worked. No crazy promises of instant wealth, no loud red flags waving around, just a clean, simple idea that sounded smart and safe on the surface, street smart even. What if regular people could buy fractions of ultra-rare collectibles? What if you didn't need millions, just a slice? Pokémon cards, Jordan jerseys, LeBron rookie cards, all locked inside a secure vault, untouched, protected, sealed tight. And here's the word they kept pushing hard: co-ownership. You weren't gambling, you weren't speculating, you were told you were being careful, calculated, and part of something bigger. You weren't just buying in, you were labeled an owner through a token. Hold your share, vote with the community on what happens next, auction it, display it, or lock it away forever. It all sounded clean, professional, almost responsible on purpose. And Logan wasn't just promoting from the sidelines either. He called himself a co-founder. That detail mattered a lot, because when someone with his reach says, "I built this," people stop pushing back and stop asking the uncomfortable questions. And the pitch went even deeper. Own part of my card and you're a world record holder too. Think about that for a second. They weren't just selling assets anymore. They were selling identity, status, and a seat at the table. Collectors rushed in fast. Fans followed right behind. Money flooded through the door. And here's the part that should have raised alarms. Most people weren't even focused on flipping for profit. They trusted the system. They trusted the vault. They trusted him. But buried under the hype, behind the clean UI and fancy wording, sat one uncomfortable truth. The platform launched before it was actually ready. And the moment users tried to do the one thing that truly mattered, touching their own money, things started cracking fast. This is where the dream collapses, because when people tried to cash out, the platform showed its real face. The first complaints didn't sound explosive at all, which is why they were easy to brush off. Just little things, delays, glitches. People sold assets and tried to withdraw their money, and nothing happened. Hours went by, then days, then weeks. Support responses stayed vague and slippery. Processing update, coming soon, please be patient. But patience doesn't cover rent or bills. Inside the community chats, the vibe flipped fast. Confusion turned into frustration. Frustration turned into straight panic. And here's the part nobody saw coming. Some users started loaning money to other users. Think about that for a second. People who thought they were investing ended up helping strangers stay afloat because payouts weren't landing. That's wild. Then it got worse. Features that were promised from day one just weren't there. Voting systems, ownership mechanics, core functions, they didn't exist yet. They were being built after launch, after real money was already locked in. And that's when the story shifted. Suddenly, it wasn't bugs anymore. Now it was growth pains, early stage issues, normal startup problems. Sounds reasonable, right? But listen closely, because this is where things stop sounding normal at all. This wasn't some random side project run by faceless developers hiding online. This platform was pushed by one of the biggest creators on the planet. And while users sat stuck, refreshing their wallets over and over, Logan went completely quiet. No loud promotions, no hype posts, no urgency at all, just silence. Slowly, his name started vanishing from bios, from mentions, from public association, like it was being erased in real time. One day it was everywhere, the next day, gone. And the pattern felt way too familiar. Money locked up, silence at the top, total chaos at the bottom. People started realizing this wasn't just technical trouble anymore. And just when things couldn't get more uncomfortable, the platform dropped a massive announcement. Something huge, something historic, something that was supposed to fix everything. Because what they did next involved the most expensive Pokémon card in the world, the same card that started all of this. And this is where things go completely off the rails. This was the move that changed everything. Liquid Marketplace needed a win, badly. Trust was cracking. Users were nervous. Money was frozen. So they pulled out the biggest weapon they had, Logan's crown jewel, the PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator, the same card he paid $5.3 million for, the same card he wore like a trophy, the same card that blasted headlines across the world. This wasn't random, this was strategic. They didn't just list it quietly either. They made it the centerpiece, the main event, the savior. Here was the pitch. For the first time ever, the public could co-own the most expensive Pokémon card in history. Not a tiny slice, not a symbolic flex, a full 51%, the majority. Meaning the community, not Logan, was supposedly in control, or at least that's how it was sold. Buy tokens, own a piece, vote on its future, auction it someday, display it, hold history together. And people bought it, literally. Money rushed in fast. Millions disappeared in days. Liquid Marketplace celebrated. Victory laps everywhere. History made. Community ownership achieved. On paper, it looked perfect. The platform raised over $2.5 million just like that. The community supposedly owned the card. Logan still stood right there smiling. But here's the detail almost nobody clocked. If the community truly owned 51%, then Logan no longer had final control. No solo calls, no private side deals, no sudden moves behind closed doors. Everything had to go through votes, every decision. And that's exactly why what happened next felt straight up impossible. Because months later, people saw the card pop up again, but not in the vault, not on the platform, and not through any official update. It showed up in conversations about selling it, like none of that ownership ever mattered. And that's where this story jumps from suspicious to street undeniable. The card was suddenly on the table, and the supposed owners never got a vote. This is where everything blows up. One day, users notice something seriously off. The PSA 10 Pikachu illustrator is being talked about again, not as a shared asset, not as community-owned, but like it belonged to one person, Logan. No poll announced, no vote, no notification. The exact thing Liquid Marketplace promised never showed up. Community control just never happened. And then it got worse. Logan appeared publicly talking about selling the card, negotiating, discussing price, moving like full ownership never left his hands at all. Think about that for a second. Millions of dollars were raised on the idea that the community owned the majority, but now the card was being moved without their permission. No input, no approval, nothing. People who thought they owned a piece of history realized they had zero say. No emergency update, no clear explanation, just silence and confusion. And when users finally started asking questions, the answers didn't come from Logan. They came from moderators, from developers, from vague statements that said everything and nothing at the same time. That's when real panic set in. Because if the card could be sold without a vote, what did ownership even mean? What were those tokens actually worth? And here's the chilling part. This wasn't a glitch. It wasn't a mistake. It was happening right out in the open. And only after the backlash got too loud to ignore did Logan finally speak up. But the way he explained it changed everything, because his statement didn't clear things up. It rewrote the entire story. And the language he used raised one terrifying question. Logan finally spoke, not in a video, not in a detailed breakdown, just a short statement, and every single word felt carefully chosen. He said that PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator was previously listed on Liquid Marketplace, where users purchased tokens that, according to the company, represented fractional ownership. Read that again. According to the company. Not according to him, not according to what was promised, not according to what people believed. Then came the real bombshell. Logan said he had repurchased the card months earlier, quietly, privately. No announcement, no vote. He claimed he paid a substantial buyout that was supposed to be distributed to token holders. Supposed to be. No price shared, no proof shown, no confirmation from users that they were paid. And that's when people felt it sink in. Because if Logan could buy the card back whenever he wanted, without permission, without a vote, then that 51% ownership meant nothing at all. And he didn't stop there. He said he was informed the funds had already been distributed, but users were still waiting, still locked out, still unpaid, some for over a year. And that's when everything people believed about co-ownership completely collapsed. And here's the most disturbing part of all. He spoke like an outsider, like someone with no control, no insight, no responsibility, as if he wasn't a co-founder, as if his name wasn't the exact reason people trusted it in the first place. Same pattern, different moment. Hype first, distance next, denial after that. And just when people thought it couldn't possibly get worse, regulators started paying attention. Because the second authorities step in, it stops being internet drama. It starts looking way darker. Step back for a second and look at the full picture. A massive hype launch, a trusted public figure, a complicated system most people never fully understood. Fans buy in, money pours through the door, then silence, then distance, then carefully worded statements like, according to the company, and operational issues, we're working on it. And somehow, the people at the top walk away clean, while regular users sit refreshing dashboards, waiting, wondering where their money went. This was never just about Pokemon cards. It wasn't even really about crypto. It was about trust. Trust turned into tokens. Tokens turned into promises, and those promises quietly dissolved into fine print. And here's the question nobody can ignore anymore. How many times does this have to happen before people stop calling it bad luck and start calling it a pattern? Because when the same story keeps repeating with different names, different platforms, and the same ending, at what point does coincidence disappear? Because once you strip away the buzzwords, the tech talk, and the hype language, what's left is painfully simple. Regular people trusted a system built on promises. They believed ownership meant control. They believed tokens meant rights. They believed a famous name standing behind it meant protection. And every one of those beliefs got tested hard. This wasn't confusion, it was design. Complicated systems make responsibility easy to dodge. When things break, nobody's in charge. When money vanishes, blame gets passed around. The platform blames growth. The devs blame tech. The face blames the company. And the users? They're left holding screenshots and waiting for updates that never land. And that's the real lesson hiding here. Not about collectibles, not about platforms, not even about creators. It's about how trust gets packaged, sold, and quietly walked away from. A famous face opens the door. Fancy language keeps people calm, and fine print does the damage after the spotlight moves on. Because when ownership exists only according to the company, control is already gone. When votes only exist in theory, power never left the top. And when silence becomes the loudest response, the outcome is already decided. This isn't a one-off story, it's a blueprint, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you made it this far, you already know why this matters. This isn't random noise, this is a pattern people keep ignoring. So drop it in the comments right now. Do you think this was straight incompetence or something way darker hiding behind clean words and fancy systems? And don't dip out yet. If you don't want to miss the next story that nobody else wants to touch, hit subscribe, because the next one doesn't just raise eyebrows, it completely blows the lid off everything.